everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at SELFi. Welcome in Kuawezesha, which is Swahili for empowerment. SELFi promotes self-care, self-expression, and most of all, self-empowerment. We would like to welcome today Jamara Washington, who is the co-founder and COO of Greenwoodx. And we have questions for you here today. Jamara, how are you?
I'm doing well, Kanae. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, girl. So, look, Jamara, do you have any Netflix shows, books, or podcasts that you are currently watching right now?
Yes, I do. I'll start with podcasts. One of my favorites at the moment is actually one that one of my friends from college started called High Key Woke Podcast. They give you nuggets and tips that are just relevant and real to the Black community, and I absolutely love it. They just talk about things like gentrification. They talk about things like code switching, just a bunch of different topics. They have guests that come in and talk about self-care and empowerment, very similar to what you do with SELFi. So those are one of the podcasts that I'm listening to. When it comes to books, my all-time faves right now is definitely More Than Enough by Elaine Wentworth and Changes That Heal by Dr. Henry Crowder. My top two books that I'm loving. And then when it comes to Netflix shows, of course, I'm watching Insecure and I am staying up to date with Issa and Mary, all the tea.
You got to.
Yes,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you have a platform, Jamara, called Greenwoodx. Tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Greenwoodx is essentially a tool that allows and empowers professionals to build and maintain their networks from home. And we do this by introducing you to people outside of your network for one-to-one video calls. We are focused on changing the way that networking is currently done and just reinventing it, because we truly believe that regardless of your race, your age, your creed, gender, everyone should have access and a fair shot to accomplish their goals. And so we've created this tool for our community.
Nice. Wow, that is so awesome.
Yes.
So awesome. Wow. And so, with all that you are involved in, absolutely, all the platforms, everything you've built up to this point,
Yes.
Can you talk about how you practice and maintain that self-care in your life right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with COVID, everything is a little bit more challenging than it should be. And we have to be more intentional when it comes to self-care and how do we maintain not only our peace of mind, but also our spaces. I think there's an opportunity for us to sit down and relax and really listen to what not only our body is telling us, but also what our mind is telling us. And so when it came to COVID, it was really a force upon me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm very good at self-care. Queen of self-care. COVID came, yes, place it on me. And when COVID came around, it was like, nope, now look at you. going, and you haven't really stopped. And it really just allowed me the time and space to sit. I'm very big on going to counseling and really just having someone that you can just really unleash those burdens that you have that sometimes you don't feel comfortable sharing with your friends. And so that is one of the tools that I use. Having a routine in the morning has been the biggest helpful thing when it comes to self-care. And so I get up, I make sure I make my green tea because I'm the queen of green tea. And I like to listen to, it's called The Nature's Daylight, or some jazz. And I'll just do a little bit of yoga and just sit down and be still for 10 minutes. And that really gets my day going. My mental juices start flowing and I feel like I can take on anything at that point.
Nice. Absolutely. Wow. Those are some really awesome things that you mentioned just about self-care and the green tea and, what you put in your body is so important and, just what you're listening to and your whole perspective on self-care, and your self-image, right? You put in your body, such as green tea or, whatever it may be, is super important to help get your day started.
Absolutely.
So anyone who's looking to found or co-found an organization, make sure you get some green tea.
Truly the plug.
Exactly. So Jamara, I know
Yes.
you're super humble, but you have an MBA.
Yeah.
You have an MBA, and not only that, you actually have a background in healthcare and in health.
Mhm.
So can you explain the importance of self-care and how it's fundamental, that we take care of ourselves in regards to exercise? I know you mentioned mental health, how it's important to go see a counselor, no matter,
Mhm.
what your race is or your social economic background is, going and talking to somebody,
Mhm.
and your diet while working out in those corporate jobs and other functions. Just
Yeah.
your MBA and your background in healthcare, is actually studying that and taking those courses. How can you explain, the importance of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. So I received my bachelor's from the University of Central Florida in health sciences. When I got to college, I was one of those students where I'm not going to change my major. This is the only thing I'm doing, XYZ, XYZ. And so I came in because I have a passion for helping people that still hasn't changed to this day, even with my organization, Greenwoodx. Um, and so when I came in, I started off as like nursing, and that was my thing. I want to help people, and this is the biggest way I can make an impact. And so I really continued that journey all throughout my undergrad program. And then I got to probably my senior year and realized I want to help people, but not in this way. And so I really fell in love with the business side of things. And so I had took a course in economics, and then there's opportunity to go to Rollins College, which was right down the street from the University of Central Florida. And it's the #1 MBA program. And I was just like, this seems like a big goal for someone who just came out of health. And I'm just that type of person. I like to shoot for the hard things. Don't shoot for anything easy. If it's going to scare you, it's going to grow you. And so that was my mindset then, now. And so when I transitioned out of health and over to business, I found other ways to really just have an impact. I'm very much an innovator. And so I'm not the person that comes up with a big idea, but I can tell you how to execute it and make it go. And so that's really where my mindset was when it came to not only my professional life, but also my personal life. When it comes to the self-care and the mindset that you need to have and able to persevere. That's my forte. And what I had to do in order to get to that, because even as I'm studying health, which is a really hard field in order to study, as almost any field that you go into,
Girl,
you have to find ways. Yes, you have to find ways to connect with your community. And I have from the beginning, and that's just the person that I am. I love to collaborate. I grew up with 5 siblings, and so I'm always the in-between and like, let's solve this problem together, kumbaya. That is all me. And so when I got to college and I was hours away from home, like from my family, and I didn't go to school with any friends from high school. So I was like, how do I create that community that I'm craving and that I really thrive in? And so even from that aspect, finding those people that you can lean on, getting involved in those organizations that really make you feel at home. And the same thing came when I went to Rollins. I felt very isolated because I went to my undergrad in UCF, 60,000 students. Rollins is a private liberals college. I was not privy to that. And it was different going to a class where you have thousands of students in versus a class, my cohort of now 20 students. That was a different type of learning experience, but it was exactly what I needed. It was more tight-knit. I had more tighter relationships with my professors, and they just really became my biggest advocates. And finding those people who can be your ally in any season of your life is so important. And so as I transitioned throughout my career, as I transitioned from Florida over to California, that really became my anchor, that community, and how I build community in the spaces I'm in, and how I create the community in the spaces that I'm in. And so